Hi everyone, and welcome everyone who are listening to this online. Today I have a question. Mario, he asks, I'd like to hear something about how lies can affect on people, and can you explain how much breakup can affect on self-development and growth? Many thanks. How lies can affect on people, and can you explain how much breakup can affect on self-development and growth? Okay, so it looks like either Mario has been lied to or he has been lying to someone. And either he or a friend or whatever has experienced some sort of breakup. And so he asks how this can affect. Well, this is different for all of us. For example, if someone lies at you or you will have different reactions within you. And those reactions depend on what you have learned about lying, what your culture thinks about lying. It also depends on whether you've been severely disappointed before by people, how much anger there is within you. It's really complex, so everyone will react completely differently. And so essentially I can only say that how lies affect you, you need to see for yourself. So since it's a very private thing, you have to look, right? And so this is one point about the internal practice that we're doing. It is to become more aware of ourselves and to see, well, how does this affect me? And is it necessary for this circumstance to affect me in such a way? Let's say, for example, you're really disappointed, you're in great pain because you've lied to, maybe even you've been lied to by someone that you love very much, or you thought that you loved very much, and now there's this huge disappointment. So yeah, there is a disappointment, and disappointment might have its good sides, no? It is, you can see the truth of the situation, so the lies are uncovered, right? You're not left in the dark anymore. You're not illusioned anymore by something. You're disillusioned by something. And that kind of disillusion, it is what the spiritual path is about in many ways. We become disillusioned with the way we fool ourselves. So we believe, for example, that another person in our life can be a source of true happiness. That's not the case. Ever. Another person can never be a source of happiness. It might appear that way, that when you're with someone else, that it makes you feel happy for a while, it makes you feel good for a while. But what really goes on here is very different. It's not that a person in your life somehow has happiness in them, and then when they're in touch with you, their happiness somehow is transferred to you. So if you spend more time with them, that transfer happens more and more, right? From that logic, you would see clearly that the more time you spend with that person, the happier you should be getting. But that is not true. This is something a lot of people have discovered during the lockdown periods all over the world. Like they've spent time with their loved ones in a confined space for a long time. And many people have experienced that as very stressful, because you're in your face all the time. And so it confronts you with the fact, but not many people see this, it confronts you with the fact that other people do not make you happy, neither do they make you suffer. You only do that to yourself. You can only make yourself suffer, and you can only make yourself happy. That's both good news and bad news. It's bad news for people who like to blame the outside world for their happiness or their suffering. They make circumstances responsible. They say, "Oh, I'm so happy because I don't know, I've won the lottery, or I've met you, or I'm so sad because you did this to me, you did that to me. I'm so disappointed." I think the first step that would be wise or skillful to do is to see, how do you disappoint yourself? How do you make yourself suffer in that moment? That is something that's very interesting to see. What's going on in that moment when you're in pain? What are you doing there? Because all suffering and all happiness is... Okay, let's limit it to suffering. All suffering is a doing. Suffering is a doing. It is not something that happens to you. It is something that you do. Always. No exceptions. I make it a bit more simple, because there's no exceptions. Suffering is something you do inside of your mind. It's just a problem, you don't know what you're doing. So you can't see what you're doing because your eyes are looking around. They're looking at people, at things, at substances, at events. And we seek the problem there. We think, oh, the problem is because she left me, I suffer. Nope. It's not really true. You suffer because you can't help yourself. You don't know how not to suffer. Take for an example the dog outside. Every time a motorbike comes, he freaks out. Starts barking and running after them and all that. He can't help it. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know that that motorbike driver is not threatening him. He can't see that. So he just has to act on his instincts. He just does what a dog does. And in a similar way, a person that is familiar with suffering does what a person familiar with suffering does. They suffer. That's because we're not familiar with non-suffering. We don't know what that means, not to suffer. We know what it means when physical, mental or emotional suffering has gone temporarily to sleep. That we know. Then you feel happy, you feel light. Every time suffering goes away, you feel good, naturally. In fact, you would naturally be happy. The problem is that suffering is clouding us. It's almost like clouds that are in the sky and they're clouding the sunshine. You can't see the sunshine. The more clouds there are, the darker it gets. It's the same with us. The more clouds there are, the darker it gets. So you can't really blame the sunshine. And you can't blame the darkness on earth. You have to, in fact, see what you are doing. So you've made another being in this world responsible for your happiness. You gave away all your power. We even say that sometimes. I give you my heart. I give you my soul. Right? Lots of love songs. A very dramatic, romantic kind of thing. You know, we give our heart away. I give you my heart. I give you my heart, my soul. That is very unskillful. You give away everything. You give away your power. It's not good. You take refuge. In Buddhism, that word, refuge, has a great significance. Taking refuge in someone. This is a wrong type of refuge. We take refuge in another person. They're just as deluded as we are, and we take refuge in them. What do you think will happen? Well, you will be disappointed. You will figure out that, oh, I still have my problems. The other person doesn't take them away from me. I still suffer. I'm still subject to ups and downs. And if that person slightly changes, I suffer again. So the key is to be self-reliant. You can rely on yourself. You can trust yourself. You take refuge in yourself. I think in his last sermon the Buddha said, be a lamp unto yourself or be an island unto yourself. Be an island to yourself. You want to be your own refuge. So you're not depending on the world. You are free from the world. You're free from things, people, substances. You're happy, period. You don't need things, people, substances and stuff to make you happy. That's where the illusion is. So many people, they talk like that. Oh, you make me so happy. Or because you've lied to me, I have so much pain. Correct that for yourself. In your thoughts, first of all, correct it. So it is in alignment with truth. The truth is, I'm hurting because I don't know how not to hurt. That's the truth. It's a hard to face truth, but it is the truth. Suffering within yourself is fortunately not necessary. It is necessary only until you realize that it's not. Then you can work on it and you can transcend it and overcome it. But until that point, yes, it fulfills the role of a teacher. It comes to you to teach you and to show you where your thinking is not skillful, where your emotioning is not skillful, and where your physical actions are not skillful. You get feedback. Suffering is feedback, isn't it? So if somebody lies to you and you get instant feedback from your own actions, how you direct your mind. For example, how do you talk to yourself in your mind after someone lied to you? What do you talk to you? What do you say to yourself? If you've had this Ajahn Thanisaro Bhikkhu, he talks always about this committee in our heads. Like we have some sort of committee. A whole lot of members in our heads. And they all talk. And they all want your attention. And some of those members are really foolish. Others are very wise. Some are worth listening to. Some are not at all worth listening to. Some voices in our heads, right? Because if you follow them, you will always end up in trouble. And if you follow other voices in your head, you will end up in better places. You will do better. So it's a matter of learning to listen to what is the committee saying. She lied to you, so, or he lied to you. I don't know what your case is. So what do you say to yourself about the situation? Are you talking to yourself in a skillful way? For example, lying is normal in this world. It's normal. People lie. We all do it. Small lies, big lies. We all have experience with it. You have lied in your life. You have lied. You have lied. I have lied. We know what it means to lie. So we're all familiar with that kind of thing. It belongs into this world. And very often we lie when we post something. Subtle little lies. We present ourselves in ways that we don't really feel we are. Because we want to show an image of ourselves in some way that is not really in alignment with how we actually feel about ourselves. So we need to apply filters, we need to put ourselves in a good position, do the right shot at the right time, take many shots until we get the right one. We show something, we try to show something that we don't feel we really are. Here's a little lie. You're dishonest with yourself. And nowadays we have great tools available to enable this kind of dishonesty. That is, of course, not very helpful. So there's many ways in which we are lying, and in which lies are propagated in the world. Big political lies, small lies, husband-wife lies, restaurant lies. Was the food tasty, sir? Oh yeah, it was wonderful, thanks, but you hated it. We all know this kind of stuff. How are you today? You feel really crappy, but you say, I'm fine, thanks. We do it automatically sometimes, we do it consciously, intentionally. We want to deceive others. Why would we want to deceive others? Because we're scared of other people's thoughts, other people's opinion of ourselves. We think that if someone knew the real me, I'd be screwed. So let me show you something I think is acceptable. That puts a tremendous amount of stress onto all of us. Like this constant, like the public self, we need to show something to the outside world that we're not. Thailand is a land of smiles. I've seen people smile even when they're really angry. That might be a very skillful thing to do. At least you're smiling and you're not expressing something violent. Fair enough. It's a good way to deal with it. But nonetheless, still, it's a kind of a conflict in the person. It's a kind of a form of pretense. And you can see already, it's not so easy to say which one is skillful, which one is not. Sometimes the borders become blurry. You see someone run away, and you see them move to the left side, into the left corridor, and then 2 minutes later, a guy comes with a gun running behind them, asking, did you see the guy? Where did he run to? It's a dilemma, it's a difficult situation. Do you lie? Do you say he went to the right corridor? Do you say, I don't know? Which would be a lie. Do you just remain silent and risk your own life? What do you do? There's difficult situations, right? And then people lie in such difficult situations. Particularly, we need to understand why people lie. It helps us to have compassion with them. Helps us to understand, nobody lies because they enjoy lying. People lie because they are scared. They feel that if they would be honest, they wouldn't be loved anymore. So they pretend. It's very common. If you can see that clearly, it helps you to ease your mind a little bit and then see, wow, okay, I can forgive her or him because I understand. It's a difficult, tough situation. We all make mistakes. How many mistakes have I made in my life? It's countless. Some of them really grave. Some of them minor. And I regret all of them in retrospect, seeing what suffering they have caused. I regret these kind of things. I regret my lies from my past. I wish I wouldn't have said them, uttered them. But we unfortunately often only know in retrospect. We look back and we see, wow, that was really bad. I wish I wouldn't have done that. And so people learn. We call that learning. Suffering teaches. That's to come back around in a cycle. When I said before that suffering is a teacher. Hopefully. Some people, they are immune to teaching, it seems. They keep repeating the same mistakes all over again and again and again. They do the same problem again and again. And we all again know this from ourselves. We don't need to look at other people actually. Everything I'm always talking about is right there within ourselves. No exemption. We can see, wow, we do certain things even though we know they're hurtful and we regret them afterwards and we feel, why did I eat this again? Or, why did I watch this news show again? And now I feel like crap. And why did I post this again? Why couldn't hold myself back? Why did I engage in this argument? But we all know that. So through this understanding, we can see lies are normal. They belong in this world, just like death and illness and war and peace and health and life. It all belongs. Every raindrop, every atom, every cloud, every sun ray, everything belongs. There's not one atom out of place in this universe. Everything is cause and result. And that gives us this beautiful ability to know ourselves and our, like see the feedback. Am I approaching this, the nature of the way it is, with suffering? Or am I approaching it with equanimity, with stillness, with peace? Am I approaching it with understanding and kindness? Or am I approaching it with resistance and anger? That is your freedom. It's your choice. You can choose. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to burn everything down with your anger. You don't have to retaliate. Here's where your choice comes in. That's where you are a creator, a creative being. You want to create love and kindness and happiness and joy and forgiveness. Go for it. It'll only benefit you and others around you. You want to create anger and retaliation and all this heavy stuff. Are you ready for the consequences? Ask yourself. With everything you do, with every decision you make, with every negative thought that you're keeping in your mind, and anger and hate and all that, what do you do to yourself? You think badly about another being. It makes you sick. Right? As they say, there's this saying, anger is like drinking poison expecting another person to die. That's anger. You get poisoned by it. Anger is poison. It burns you from the inside. It's like an acid. And you drink acid hoping the other person gets hurt. Or it's like, the other saying is like holding a hot stone and wanting it to throw on someone else. You get burned. And so we need to recognize this. Your suffering burns you. It doesn't do anything to the other person. You have to carry it. You have to live with it. So why would you not let it go? If it hurts you, why not release it? Why not liberate it? Why not free it? Why hold it? Why think about it? Why repeat your thoughts about it? Again, oh, she hurt me. She hurt me. Day and night, oh, why did she hurt me? You tell your friends, did you know that she hurt me? And your friends say, what? She hurt you? Oh God, that's horrible. Tell me more about it. Why did she hurt you? I don't know why she hurt me, but she hurt me. It's like endless, infinitely carrying on our suffering. What for? Ask yourself these questions, like sit down in front of a mirror and don't get up for an hour and ask yourself these questions. Ask yourself the hard questions. Why don't I stop to suffer? Why not? Why don't I stop to suffer? How does suffering benefit me in this situation? Does it help me to put my suffering on top of it? And you will be quickly confronted with your inability to let go. And you will come up with excuses. You will say, but it's so dead. It's so difficult. How could she do this? I mean, I'm in pain. I'm in pain. Yes, I understand. But the real question is, could you be out of pain too? Is there such a possibility? In the universe, could you exist without pain? Without emotional drama and turmoil? Could you exist that way? Could you? Could you let that go? Beautiful method. It's called the Sedona Method. It's 3 simple questions. Ask yourself. Tell me your problems, whatever you have. The practitioner would ask, tell me what is it that hurts you? And then the person will tell about this and experience the pain while they talk about it. Then the practitioner asks the first question, could you let this go? Could you? It's a simple question. It's a genius question. Could you let this go? Could you? And then you're supposed to let that sink in. Like, ask yourself truly, could I let this go? And there's really only one possible answer. Because I don't ask you, can you let this go? I say, could you let this go? Could you let your pain go? Could you? And then eventually, after maybe a few back and forths, a bit of stubbornness, the client says, yes, I could. We have to face that. We could let it go. We could let it go. Second question. Would you let it go? Would you? It's very confronting, these questions, because they show you directly, in a tricky way, your power. And they will confront you with the fact that many people don't seem to want to let go of their pain. Interesting, isn't it? We kind of want to be rolling around in the mud. The pig inside of us loves rolling around in the mud. It enjoys it. Like Ajahn Chai said, you have these little worms, right? They like to crawl around in buffalo dung, in buffalo droppings. I don't know how you call them. Bling.
Is it something?
No, it's not bring. It's leeches. It's not leeches. It's like little bugs or something like that. They like to eat the dung of buffaloes. Anyways, not so important. He says, if you would take them out because you have compassion for them somehow, you see, like, oh my God, he's eating shit, literally. Let's free him, let's liberate him, let's give him a better life. And you sit this little bug onto a beautiful, tasty kind of dinner. You make dinner for the bug, something special, 5-star dinner. The bug will immediately go back to the shit because it's everything it knows. It's his home, his food, his life is that. Because it's that bug. So what do you identify yourself with? Here's the problem. Are you that bug that loves to live there and doesn't know it? Or are you something else that you don't know yet? Okay, anyways, so coming back, the second question, right? Would you let it go? Would you? And eventually, after back and forth, the client would say, yes, because anything else is insane. No, I would not let it go. Well, then the question would be why? Why would you not let go of suffering? But eventually, after back and forth, as I said, the answer would be yes. Yes, I would let it go. The third question, when? When do you want to let go of this pain? I'm sorry, my voice is not so good today. When do you want to let go of this pain? What's the only good answer in that moment? Or what's the only meaningful answer in that moment? Say it again.
When it right.
Well, you're still moving around a little bit. The most meaningful answer in that circumstance would be now. Now. And it's very often, it's quite a miracle that people literally let go of a huge burden because they immediately understand what they've been doing to themselves many years often. Why did he do this to me? How dare he did this to me? And you carry this grudge around with you somehow. You carry it in your energy field. You carry it in your blood, in your guts. You carry it everywhere in your body. And then all of a sudden you realize it's not necessary to do this. And it's an impactful realization. It's not one of those weak kind of, yeah, now I get it. It's very often a powerful, transformative insight that people have in this moment. It changes their psychology. That sudden understanding, wow, I've been hurting myself for so long and I don't need to do this anymore. So here's the invitation coming from this talk. Whoever hurts from whatever has been done to them, why not put it down? Why carry it? Why relive old pain again and again? If you knew how to let it go, would you not let it go? Right? Now we come into the realm of spiritual practice, which teaches you how to let go of pain. The whole purpose of the Buddhist path is to learn how to release pain, to let go of suffering. It's the whole point. That then goes into the techniques, the technology, to use it to let go of your pain and suffering. But before you can even do that, you need to want. You need to want to get out of your heap of dung, so to say. You need to want to raise above the internal bug that we are, that likes this kind of dung. You need to raise your self-awareness. You need to raise the image that you have of yourself. You're not a bug. You don't need to stay in shit. It's just people don't know it. So they think they are bugs. It's like a dog that's been raised by, it's like a tiger that's been raised by dogs. That tiger will believe he's a dog. He will bark, he will wag his tail, he will jump around like a dog and play like a dog. He's never seen another tiger in his entire life. So that tiger will believe with certainty that I'm a dog. He can't help it. He's never seen another tiger. So why do most people in this world hold on to their suffering? Because they never seen somebody that released it. Because it's very rare to find people who actively work on releasing suffering inside of themselves, who take that responsibility. It's very rare in the world. Most people in the world, they blame. They point their finger outside. They say, I feel bad because of the weather, feel bad because of politics, feel bad because of this and that. Sure, this is the majority. The majority, it's a dog's world. Lots of dogs. It's hard to find tiger. Even in Thailand, it's hard to find a tiger. They become more and more rare. They're on the road to kind of extinction or something like that. I don't know if this is true actually, but
no,
it could be true.
Double, you see.
Pardon?
From 100 they have around 180.
So it's going up.
Wild tiger in Thailand.
Wild, it's going up.
Nearly double. They find
All right, nice, good to hear that. So you see, it's like this kind of simile, right? You are that kind of tiger, you are that kind of lion, you can say, but you just don't know it yet. You've only spent time with dogs so far. So you think you're a dog. This applies to all of us. We think we're human beings. Not really, not really. But if you think you are, yes, you'll behave like one and you do things like other human beings. That's because you don't really know yourself yet. So this is why we sit here and learn to open our eyes and look closely and see what you could do. And how you could raise up your spirit. Slowly, slowly, step by step. Opening the heart. Okay, so this is all that comes to mind for today. Is there any questions?